creator of the College of the Dead Zombie Apocalypse ongoing series and publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Man of 1,000 comics. And tonight, though, I'm really excited that I got to connect with Preston. Preston is a comic book creator. He's a publisher. He just put out this Indiegogo campaign called Doc Salem Monster Hunter. And I wanted to get to know Preston, talk about his campaign, talk about his involvement in comics, and just have some fun and really get into Doc Salem a little bit. So, Preston, thank you so much for making time tonight to get together.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you.
Excellent,
thanks for having me on, actually.
You have some very cool looking art. I'm not sure how many other people have seen Doc Salem. The description is below. The link to the description is below. You can see it on our description. Click the link to yourself. But everybody while we're talking to Preston, take a look at this art. It's very cool. Really very cool. Everybody loves tentacles too, man. So
I know, right?
what I like to do is, Preston, I like to kind of understand people's background in comics, because one of the things that's so fascinating to me, like I published my first comic 1986 when I was a teenager. I got kind of
GI Rabbits, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Like, you know my background, GI Jack Rabbit. All right, you got the 411, man. No. You got the 411 on me. I can't keep secrets from you. But yeah, it was. And the cover was great, and a couple of the pages were great. We had a hard time getting it done, but I see people like putting out these books, and I'm like, they're all great looking books that I'm seeing. Everybody does different stuff, but this is great looking book. So, is this your first comic that you've worked on professionally?
No, actually, I've done a few. Nothing like super mainstream, I guess. I mean, I did a cover for Valiant. But other than that,
that's a big deal.
Well, it was okay. I mean, it was a comic shop cover, but I am listed as a Valiant cover artist or something like that.
Very cool. So it was like an exclusive for a comic shop, limited edition or something like that.
Yeah, it was fully painted because I'm a painter, really. Like I like doing painting, but I don't know if you can really say that, like, because I really love illustration. I don't, painting's kind of another thing that I do, I guess.
That you're passionate about. That's very cool. It's very cool. So you did the Valiant cover. So Doc Salem, is it you on all of the art chores?
It is, actually, except for colors. And, well, actually, no. Colors and inks. I had to train an inker to actually ink my work.
Wow.
I'm like most pencilers, I guess. Like, we're not really happy with inkers, and unless I don't know. I don't know, like, as far as like how that goes, but I know for me it's very difficult to find a good inker, and I found one.
I'm looking at the finished result, and
I inked the cover.
You don't love your cover?
No, I do. I love that.
You inked the cover.
Yeah. And I also inked the first page, but after that, my inker took over. And it's good because he was willing to take criticism, because I'm good at taking criticism. Like, if you tell me I suck right now, I'm good with it.
Well, it's kind of like, you want a collaboration. There's nothing like a collaboration. I'm not an artist and I'm not a writer, but I collaborate a lot on the creative process with the people that I work with, and it's super rewarding. But it's not a good fit for everybody. Doesn't want to work that way. They're like, well, leave me alone, and I want to do my own thing. And but I agree with you, man. If you can take criticism and the other person can take criticism, wow, you could do so much together.
Well, I think that's part of being a professional too, is being able to take criticism, being able to change your work, and not get. I think a lot of people like that call themselves professional get too close to their work, and that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to separate yourself away from the work a little bit.
So this is an example. This is an example of a page that your buddy inked.
No, I inked that one.
You inked this is the first one. Okay.
Yeah, that one I inked too. Actually, I had to do a couple of them.
No wonder it's so good.
He did the next one where his foot's getting blown off.
Okay. Oh, okay. The foot blown off was him.
Yeah, but it's kind of almost seamless. Like, you can't really tell who inked what.
It's very seamless. Yeah. Well, of course, you don't want people taken out of the story. You want people to just be engrossed in it and really enjoy
Exactly.
it.
Everything's got flow, and you know, I think that makes for a good book.
Yeah, I like your layouts too. It's dynamic and it's interesting, but it's not excessive to the point where you can't follow like one panel to the next. And even the
That's that
biggest.
'90s influence, actually. Yeah. When
Well, good for you on the storytelling because we need that. We need good
yeah,
comics, indie comics, COMICSGATE. We need good comics where it's slick looking and the flow is there with the story, and and we need new characters because big companies gone and ruined their the characters we grew up with.
oh my
You
god, I
know,
can't believe how bad it's gotten. Like it's
no,
really, really bad. Like I
it's okay.
can't stomach like looking
Yeah,
at
I know
modern
what you mean.
comics
I
anymore.
just you
You know?
walk the other way, but if you look at like what we have with Cyberfrog, you look at the new stuff that's coming out now from the passionate creators that
Yeah.
are not getting interfered with social agendas and things like that. They're just telling stories and cool and slick looking stuff and heroic stuff. Then you see like there's plenty of hope. There's more than hope. Like this, good things are happening.
Well, I'm a big fan of Jack Kirby, and
Oh yeah.
Golden and Silver Age comics.
Oh yeah.
And I like one thing I've noticed about comics is that they don't have that magic anymore. That magic that they captured back then. It's so like I'm a big fan of Mike Allred's too, with his Madman series. And Mike,
Oh, his work is beautiful.
oh my god, but Mike
Beautiful.
captured that. Like anybody can look at that book. It could be a kid or it could be an adult, and they
Mm.
could get into it, and it wouldn't be they wouldn't feel like they're reading something below their pay grade.
Yeah, it's not
And
something that somebody hacked out. Everything
yeah,
is very deliberate and it's very engaging and very
so
polished.
yeah, so that's why I created Doc Salem, because I
Mm.
wanted I wanted
Yeah,
to
tell me
kind
about.
of
You got to tell me about Doc Salem. Very cool. Let's hear
well, I
about it,
wanted
man.
to capture that, like that the feel of those old, like the innocence, I guess. And I'm also a big fan of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the old movies,
Mm.
like old black and white horror and stuff like that. So all the flashbacks, I tried to give it that feel like you're going back in the past and watching an old black and white movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think this book's going to be. I think this book's going to be a hit. I'm glad you got discovered. It was Micah Curtis that turned us on to you because you're working on another project with Micah.
yeah, yeah, like Micah's a really good guy too, and he's really creative.
I love Micah. Yeah,
We
we're crazy about him. Everybody's crazy
yeah,
about Micah, really.
I signed on to do 3 nights with him, and I'll be honest, like the first draft I did of the promo poster, like he didn't like the characters,
Mm.
and it would have been so easy for anybody else to be like, well, screw you. But no, I mean, I like I said, you got to be a professional. You take that criticism and you do a better job the second time around.
Just as a quick
So,
thing on Micah, I didn't know him very well, and I just knew he had a good reputation. A lot of people liked him, and then
yeah,
we did an interview about Englewood, his book, and I've worked with a lot of people over the years. It started with GI Jackrabbits, but it went on from there, and I worked with a lot of names you would know and different writers and creators and stuff. And I in his interview, like it's his first book that he's writing, but
Mhm.
Englewood is one hell of a book.
I,
He's an easy guy to want to
yeah.
please and work with, don't you think?
Well, like I said, we've just started working together, but it's not
Okay.
a chore. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not
Yeah.
like it's not hard. Like it's a really easy fit. So I don't
You
see
guys
any
have this
problems.
Yeah, you guys have the same kind of goal,
Yeah.
like
Well,
producing
create good
really
books.
great. Yeah, well, good books, but bringing back like timeless books. I like when Ethan Van Sciver references, like with Cyberfrog. He's like, we're making books now, and we have to think about making books now that are best work ever,
Yeah.
and that people want to read more than once, not the throwaway garbage that a lot of companies are producing now, where it's like, hey, I just got 12 books out this year, and it took you a year to get one book out. Ha ha ha! It's like, well, yeah, because one of the books is timeless,
Yeah.
and it's worth on the secondary market probably 3 or 4 times what it cost when you pre-ordered it. Not that this is an
Yeah.
investment scheme or schemes and scams, but it's nothing like that. But it's like it's a book that someone wants to hold and keep, and not just like treat like a old newspaper and throw it away. So that's the kind of stuff that we're making, and Doc Salem looks like something like that.
Well, you know what I like about all this too is that everybody's got their own individual style, and it's not like a house style
Yeah,
where
no, how I
you
think we
know,
need a house style for certain companies. Like I'd love for there to be I'd love to do a house style, honestly. I think we lose a lot when there isn't one company. Not all
uh-huh,
of us should be one company, but like one company that helps to set a tone for storytelling, like coherent storytelling and standards. And I think it's educational for new talent and stuff. But
yeah,
I agree with you that the diversity of styles, the true like real diversity of styles and talent
yeah.
is phenomenal, don't you?
Well, you know what it is? It's like something happened in the '90s. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane hit, you know, and then everybody wanted to be Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, and Todd McFarlane. You know, so everybody gave up their style to kind of mimic theirs to go ahead and be those guys. And I think that was bad, you know, because um I like the when like back in the '70s and the '80s where you had especially well I guess especially the '80s because you had like Bob Hall, you had Arthur Adams and John Byrne and all these guys had wildly different styles, but they were all good, you know, and the ones that weren't just fell to the wayside. So
Yeah,
and
and people were experimenting too, so much.
exactly, it was like
All
they wasn't scared.
the coloring, the printing, there was tremendous experimentation.
Yeah,
But I don't know how familiar you are with '80s comics when Jim Shooter at Marvel started the Epic Comics imprint when he was editor in chief. And
I
Epic Comics was like the first printing on Baxter paper, like high quality paper, high
yeah.
quality printing. And there were other independent publishers like Pacific Comics, was way back in the day, maybe '82 or something, but producing beautiful high end color books and stuff. So it's great to see that experimentation and people doing different things. I like a house style, for the purposes of um, continuity for the customer, continuity for like the whole team, a certain linear storytelling. So you have like when you're seeing when there used to be good sequels, like for movies,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh wow, this Star Wars 1 was good, and Star Wars 2 is even better, and you could see you just it was just cool. You knew what to expect. You got the fan
Mhm.
service, but they also took it somewhere else.
Um,
Adam is giving away his age. I'm
what,
15. What are you talking about here? Okay, I'm 49, and I'm proud of it. But
one
I love you,
one thing I
R2D2,
have to
man.
say is Jim Shooter, really
Yeah.
nice guy. Extremely nice guy. And as
Oh, you
far as
got
I'm
the
concerned, he's a genius because when the comic market was crashing, like he managed to start a brand new company and make it successful. You know, and started
yeah.
something brand new. I mean, he made a comic out of cards and made it wildly collectible. You know?
He did. I think they
So
sold like a million of those. That's fine. I
yeah.
have a history with Jim Shooter, a little bit of a history. I'm also
Mhm.
since we Jim Shooter's name came up, I'm going to put in the chat jimshooter.com. You guys have no idea what gold is there. Go
Yeah.
dig it out. Look at his storytelling lecture because in the early 1990, well, right after Valiant, when he started Defiant, right before Defiant launched, he spent a couple of months doing a storytelling lecture, really just focusing on teaching people the essence of good comic storytelling. Unless you've been through that lecture, you don't know what you don't know what he's. Not that you can't tell a good story with comics, but you're missing something. Go get it. It's free. There's a lot of commentary. I think he's got transcriptions of it there. I'm trying to remember what it is, but he has a lot of feedback he gives. And what he talks about is um, it's not that it's the Jim Shooter way of telling. It's not the Jim Shooter way of writing comics. It's what Jim Shooter learned when he was working with Stan Lee, Mort Weisinger, and
Yeah.
other editorial greats, and he collected the information, and that's been his discipline that he's been putting out there. That said, of course, he's got a big personality, and look, it's business is tough. And since he left Marvel, there were no other professionals at Marvel, as far as I don't mean to insult anybody, but there were no professional editorial people setting a standard. You know, this is not about Doc Salem, but if you're going to bring up Jim Shooter, I'm going to get distracted.
Yeah. No, I
But that
totally
said,
agree.
no, but that said, yeah, no, your respect for that kind of discipline, the marketing side, as well as like the storytelling side and the editorial side, it makes me want to fund Doc Salem right now. But
Feel free. Go
can't really
for it.
do that. But I will back it. I mean, it's a great book. I'm going to be excited to get it. tell us, and I'm going to talk to you probably later after the show. We're going to talk Jim Shooter stuff because I just go every time I get started on it. But guys, seriously, check out jimshooter.com. I'm going to discuss his website. I'll do a separate whole video on it. So Doc Salem, Monster Hunter. Who's Doc Salem? What's the story about?
Okay, so it's kind of like a retelling of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So Doc Salem was actually Victor von Frankenstein. And as you
Okay.
know, like he created his monster was, and he thought he was creating a god, and instead he created a monster, and a monster like this, beat the living hell out of him, destroyed him. So Igor, trying to save his master, injects him with the elixir of life. But because Igor is not Victor von Frankenstein, he doesn't know that you have to use electricity to go along with it to go ahead and make it. So Doc Salem falls into a trance for a deep sleep, I guess, a healing sleep for a couple of decades or more, and then he wakes up. Present day, and his body's changed and he's all scarred up and everything like that. But like in the present day, monsters have come out of the shadows, and they're they and then you have activists who are like, monsters' rights, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. All right.
Yeah. So it's
just to make sure
I'm making a commentary on what's happening now, except I don't want to delve into it. I just want to kind of poke fun of it, at it a little bit.
All good. All good. I'm with you too. And like that is the way. If you want to make social commentary, the way to do it is it's a theme in a story, but it's not a story that follows the theme. It's the way you're doing it. You tell the character's story, and through his journey, we see the point of the story. The point of the story is the point that you're trying to make, and that's fine. That's good writing. Like in that I don't know if you're a Star Trek guy or not. Probably seen him,
am I?
but like, all right, brother. So like, of course, the Star Trek. They had a lot of statements about the future and social commentary, but it wasn't. Even though it was relatively blatant, it wasn't so in your face. Like the planet where there was black on one side of the face and white on the other side of the face, and those guys were fighting. And it's like, why would races fight? It doesn't make any sense. We're all people.
Wasn't it Alan Moore that said to tell a good sci-fi story, you had to tell a story really about the future? I mean, about the present. You see what I'm saying? Like the story has to be about the present for it to be a good sci-fi.
Number one, brother, I do not know. Number two, Robert McKee said in his book Story, which I like a lot. Not everybody loves it, but I like it a lot because it gives you structural rules, exactly like what you just said, which is like, you should do this interview. You're interviewing me, and I like it. No, it's yes, what you just said. The first part, he said, science fiction is supposed to be a statement about the future because it's our future. So, so that's it. When you have a science fiction story and it gives you a statement about the future, like we've got to be more careful with whatever, with the planet, with how we use resources, with letting power get centralized or whatever it might be. You want to tell that story. It's not the same as a Western, or it's not the same as, the genres for an action movie. But for anybody who wants to check it out, that book is called Story, and it's by Robert McKee. It's available as a book, and it's available as an audiobook. And there are also YouTube videos. He's done quite a few, so you can check that out for free. Eventually I'll add that after our show tonight. I'll add a link to some of his online discussions about story. It's so educational and so fascinating. You are an interesting as heck guy to talk to, Preston. People are going to go nuts for your campaign. All right, so just so I get the story thus far, because I want to make sure, like, we're not getting lost here, and then because a lot of sidetracking on my part, but you're so damn interesting to talk to. So Doc Salem, he basically, because Igor is trying to save him, he does try to save him, gives him that injection, that life injection thingy, and then he's falls into a sleep for like decades. So he's a man out of time when he wakes up. So do you?
So
is this the UN? Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, is this the USA? Was it like the 1920s, and then he's waking up present day?
No, it does. It takes place in the USA. I mean, because comics. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Present day is all good. And so
Yeah.
so he's in the present day with us. This is our world that we know.
Mhm.
Okay. The world outside the window, Jim Shooter thing. So the world outside the window. And he is also a man out of time though, because he's been asleep for a few decades.
Yeah. So when he wakes up, Igor is like extremely old. And so he decides, and the name Frankenstein is outlawed because the monster that he created did such vile things that
Oh man.
it's I don't mention it. I just he did some really bad stuff. So it's
All
like
right.
because of it, like Frankenstein, he's like if he was to come out and like publicly, he would be sentenced to death. His
Okay.
for crimes against humanity. And
Oops.
so in the first issue, I established the main character. Establish a pretty good bit of the supporting characters.
Cool.
I don't want to give too much away, but
Don't.
Igor
Yeah,
plays
don't.
plays an really extreme part there. Um, and it's an interesting book.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I like these crazy tentacles.
And another thing
Um,
too is one of my goals in this book too is to bring back some of the Golden Age characters too. A lot of them are public domain, and a lot of them I really, really, like. Because I'm also working with David Fur and Chuck Dixon on the Golden Age revival titles.
oh, very cool. I know Clint from Sweetcast just worked on something with
Yeah,
that.
I'm working with Clint on Silver Streak too.
Oh,
Um,
I love Clint. Great man.
yeah, he's a really good guy. Um, So yeah, I mean, and those characters are out there. They already have an established following, So, and it would be awesome to have Amazing Man or or even Silver
Yeah,
Streak or some of those characters just appear in Doc Salem. So yeah, that's what I'm planning for that character for that whole series is to go ahead and bring back a lot of things that people are going to recognize and go ahead and have fun with
I
it.
think
It's supposed to
it's
be a
going to be
good
really cool.
escapism book, and
Yeah, with a little, I mean, all sorts of cool stuff thrown in.
yeah.
That design is very cool. Doc Salem getting attacked with tentacles. It's going to be. I think it's very iconic. Yeah, well, it's very iconic. You
Yeah.
need stuff that's iconic. It's like Doc Salem. There he is. Buy
Well,
the book, support the book, share it with your friends. It's very cool.
also, I wanted to I wanted like in the '90s they had like they did something that was pretty unique. I thought it was unique anyway. While everybody else was doing the alternate cover thing,
Hmm.
like the gimmick covers and stuff like that. Like Image started doing ash cans, and they did really
Yeah,
unique ash cans, and I love that about that. But you don't see that anymore. You don't see that anymore. Um, so that's another thing I want to bring back with Doc Salem too. And instead of like offering prints, because prints, I mean, you hang it on your wall and that's pretty much it. Like I want to do something unique. So yeah, with the book, you also get the ash can, the collector's ash can. Yeah. And it's got all my preliminary sketches, page breakdowns and everything like that inside of it.
I love that making of stuff. I did that with my book, College of the Dead, also.
Oh, it's
And
phenomenal.
yeah, man, I love. Well, the format that we did is a little bit different. That we did a full. So I didn't write it. This guy Stefan Petruka wrote it for me, a great writer.
Mhm.
And we did his full script along with the full pencil layouts from the artist. So it wound up being
Yeah.
it's 100-page, making of book really with additional character sketches too. And yeah, it's great to have that, but it's also an educational tool because you make comics and you've made a lot of comics. You've done your drawing, so you know
Mhm.
how to put stuff together and you know how to do layouts and stuff. And not everybody knows how to do that, so it's good for them to see it as a black and white example like that. But also, it's cool for people that love the property. It's like you get to see the design stuff
Yeah.
behind it. That's really really cool. So I know Cyberfrog has an Ashcan. My friend Wenger, who's doing Super Harem, He has an
That is,
Ashcan.
that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
such a unique concept. It's so funny.
He's a unique man. It's a unique concept, and actually, just as a quick aside, a little plug for him. He, we just did a video today. I've been bothering him for about a week till the two of us could get our schedule together to make sure people know that he hit his stretch goal. He passed his goal.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Oh
he hit
awesome!
his stretch goal, his first stretch goal, which allows him to take his
Uh-huh.
48-page black and white book and make it a full color book. So now
Oh
it's full
nice.
color. Yeah, I'm so happy for him. And then if he hits his next stretch goal, he's going to double the page count and make everything color, which I think is a big thing to bite off to chew. But you know what? You can't stop ComicsGate people from making
Yeah.
great comics and making them more and more exciting. And the more successful they are,
You know,
the
another one that I like too. I actually like got it. It was Shinobi Sasquatch.
yeah, beautiful,
That,
beautiful.
oh my god, I was like, that's so off the wall. I had to
Yeah,
do it. You know, I
Rob.
mean,
I got to have Rob Willis on. He told me he'd come on. I got to reach out to him ASAP.
yeah.
His work is just stunning. It's
Oh,
just
it's
stunning.
crazy.
And I
Yeah.
was asking him how long it took, back and forth on Twitter. He's a really nice guy. How long does it take to draw? And because you look at the work and it's like,
Oh,
what
it's
do you
great. It reminds me of
spend
Dale
like a week
Cohen.
on a page?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What do they say? Yeah, you know what? When you get around more artists, they know work better than me.
Yeah.
The guys always talk about like it's Dale Keown and someone else as well. Um, Shinobi Sasquatch. So Sean, the R2D2 for Life guy, is a great supporter of comics,
Mhm.
indie comics. He retweets us. He encourages us. He's just a great guy on Twitter. Make sure you're following R2D2 for Life. I know it sounds silly, but uh, he likes R2D2. It's just one of those
Hey, I
cute
don't blame him.
names, right? But yeah, or look at my tweets. I'm sure he and I have some interactions there too.
Okay.
Um, follow him. But you'll see there's a few people that are really dedicated to just helping indie creators get their comics out, and you're going to get swept up in all that, no doubt.
Oh God,
So how
it's
long is
a
the first book? It's 48 pages, correct?
the first book is 48 pages. But it's actually more. It's actually 56 pages because I added 8 pages of gallery,
Hmm.
but I'm only advertising 48 pages of story. I know it's
Okay.
weird, but
No, it's not
I
weird.
mean,
It's people should know what they're going to get. So it's a 56-page book plus cover, and there's
yeah,
48 pages of sequential art story, and there's an
yeah,
extra 8 pages of gallery, which is
yeah.
designs and other images related
Well,
to the property.
I'm a like I said, I know a lot of artists that I really like their work, and I want their work to be featured in Doc Salem. You know, and it's kind of me being a fanboy a little bit. So, you know,
R2D2 for Life has see, this is the thing about people, like they have the best suggestions. Like they've seen it all, sort of like, hey, have you thought
uh-huh.
of? And I'm like, well, no, I haven't, but they've seen it all, so they think of things. R2D2 for Life says you should touch base and see if you can join hashtag Team Monster with Shinobi Sasquatch, Oddity Hero, and Monster MD.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Those are all monster properties.
Hey, look.
I don't I don't know what Team Monster is. I don't know if it's just sort of funny, but is it a never call R2D2 silly? No, R2D2 is not silly. I
Do
always
not
loved
taunt
R2D2.
R2D2.
We're all big R2D2 fans. The the Empire could have never, lost their moon weapons if they didn't have R2D2, like hiding the holograms and stuff that they did. So we all need
Exactly.
R2D2s in our life. Um, so yeah, maybe there is a thing such as Team Monster. If you put that hashtag out, you'll see if there is or
Okay.
isn't. If there isn't, then there should be. All right, so let's go through the tiers on the campaign. We already started talking about the
Okay.
Ashcan, but let's go. We'll go top to bottom, and we'll start with digital. And no, so far nobody got the digital yet. Probably because they look at your book and they're like, "I want to hold this in my hands." And some of the
Yeah, it
guys
might
do
be
do
because it's
digital.
really expensive. I didn't want to do a digital tier, but
Hmm.
I heard Zach talk about like people overseas usually want to get a digital because they want to pay for shipping. So I was like, yeah, maybe I should.
Well,
But
look at if you look at here's what I would suggest. Honestly, is if you look at my YouTube channel of people that I interviewed for ComicsGate tonight, there's a playlist. Look
mhm,
up their campaigns. Look at what
okay.
Monster MD is doing. Look at what Super Harem is doing. Look at
I
what
did actually. I looked
Door
up a lot
Kickers.
of them.
Okay, so if you look up Door Kickers, Scott,
Hmm?
he's full retail. He's like the price of the book. That's his digital.
Yeah,
Um, and you don't get the physical book, but you also don't have to pay shipping. And if you just want to buy it to read, that's what you do. You do. I will just give you this one suggestion.
what's
My
that?
take on it is this: is I didn't offer digital, and then I did, and then I pulled it, and then I put it back, and I pulled it. It kind of isn't part of what I'm doing, so I just kind of like I didn't do it. Maybe next time, if I did it initially, I would do it. But I'm with Scott from Door Kickers on it. If you're going to do it, you charge like the full retail, just because you have to be careful that you're getting the revenue that you need, and you want to get a lot of backers, but at the same time, digital is profitable because it doesn't cost anything to really to deliver, but
Except for
it is,
time,
but it's
and
very
because you,
very limited,
yeah,
very limited in the time of it. But the thing of it
yeah,
is if you lose a full sale for the price of the book, it does add up because the marginal
yeah, yeah.
cost of the books is it's cheap. So look at what Scott did. Yeah, look at those guys. Look at their pricing and stuff. And if you're not sure, you could hide this perk in your settings, and then
R2D2's asking what type of pistols he's wielded. Actually, that's interesting. The pistols are Wrath and Ruin. That's the name of the pistols.
hmm,
So I'm gonna model them after a 45 caliber, but they're going to be inscribed with one Wrath and one Ruin.
that's
Um,
cool.
I just want to make them. Everything's got to be unique when it comes to this character. Because it's just got to be. That's
I like the emblem on his chest. That
yeah.
skull and crossbones. That is cool.
Thank you.
Four of them use Team Monster together and cross promote a little. Boom.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
you could be Team Monster.
Yeah, I
Hashtag
guess
Team
so.
Monster. Or message any one of them. Vaughn is very nice. Message any one of them. They're all nice. And say, hey, do you mind if I use hashtag Team Monster? So when people start looking for that, yeah, you pop up in there. Why wouldn't you be Team
Okay,
Monster?
cool.
Look at this beautiful monster work. All right, let's look at more of the tiers. So the regular book, this is the printed book,
Yeah.
main cover by you. Doc Salem #1, first appearance, collector's key issue. Absolutely, you need one copy. So it's the printed book, and that'll be 56 pages plus cover.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. The book,
That's another thing too. I think like like Kirby and Lee. Like if you notice, like all the old Thors that Kirby did, like almost every one of those first issues was like, well, the issues in the beginning were key issues, and it made every one of them like unique and collectible and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I want to do with Doc Salem too, is make each issue valuable, by introducing a new character, but not shoving them in there, like kind of easing them in, and kind of like they
interesting.
did, yeah.
Well, you just keep doing your thing. You've got an incredible attention to detail. You're putting your heart into this thing. It's going to show in the work, and people will be happy. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
they will. Now the book of the Ashcan. So the Ashcan's only another $5. That is a
Yeah,
deal and a half. That's a deal and a half. So roughly, how many pages do you think the Ashcan will be?
I'm thinking maybe 8 or 10 pages.
Okay,
Something. I haven't
cool.
decided yet. I got to get all the material together first.
Sure.
Yeah.
So roughly, let's assume 8 pages, and then would that be
Uh-huh.
plus cover?
Yeah, yeah, that's plus cover. Yeah.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So it's a nice extra bonus item, and obviously that's well worth an additional $5.
Yeah.
The collector's pack. The collector's pack. What does that have in it?
Well, I seen like one of the other guys in the community was offering a
Hmm.
collector's pack where it was 2 books to So I decided to do the same
Oh, two
thing.
books and
Just
two ash cans.
yeah,
That's
and then
cool. That's cool. That's another good deal.
mhm.
And look at it as if you're a buyer. I'm looking at this, and I will back to this campaign. I don't know at what level yet. We'll have to see. But I'm looking at it, and it all looks very reasonable. Collector's pack 2. So this would be the book. Yeah, tell me what's in here, my friend.
This is all of the alternate covers and the ash
Ah,
cans included, and they all come signed too. Like that's another thing too. Like everything comes signed. So
excellent, excellent. So this is
um,
5 different covers.
4 different covers, I think.
Four.
Yeah, 4 different.
Sorry. Oh, because of the ash can. I counted that. I shouldn't have
Yeah.
counted that. 4 different covers plus the ash can. That is a good
Mhm.
deal. $80. Cool. All right, retailers, you never know. And there are mail order retailers, there are stores. So if a retailer could buy 8 copies of the book and they would get 2 Ashcans.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I would
Sounds
have put
good. And they
more
can
in,
have them.
but they cut me off at 10 things. I could.
Oh, okay. 10 items. You're only
Yeah.
allowed to have 10 items. I didn't know that. That's cool.
I didn't know either until I tried to put more.
Oh, I learned something new. So you can't have 100 somethings.
I guess not. I was like, that's crazy. Yeah,
Maybe you could have 10 packs.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know, but that's interesting. All right, so is this going to be limited to just retailers, or if somebody wants to go nuts and be a and play retailer, are you game for that?
Kind of want to limit it to retailers, because
Okay,
I
nothing wrong
wanted
with that.
a special tier for them. I don't want to.
Yeah, just so they can like
Yeah,
they supported comics for all these decades. It's nice to support them a little bit
yeah.
if you can. You do our best.
Well, a couple of people
Book
I know like own comic shops, and they are struggling and they need help. So
anything we can do. I'm with you, my friend.
yeah,
The book plus a commission. Interesting. The book, the Ashcan, and a commission. So what is the commission going to be? Eight
whatever
by
you want.
10.
Yeah, it's all be a
So
full color painted commission, either
painted
by me
eight.
or one of the other cover artists. Yeah.
Wow. So 8 by 10,
Mhm.
full color, done traditional because it's
Yeah.
on
Well,
Bristol.
I do all my work traditionally. So
Hmm.
that's one thing I've noticed too is like nobody does traditional work anymore. It's all digital. And it's kind of ruined the collector's market at the moment. Yeah. So I
Hmm.
mean nothing against digital. Digital is a good way to get production line artwork out, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who really would like to collect a page from X-Men or
Yeah.
or
Could you
whatever,
imagine
but
if
there is no
if Jack
page.
if Jack Kirby had was working digital and like there was
Oh
none of
my
his
God, that would be.
originals and
Well, I mean, from what I heard back then, he probably should have been because they used his
mm.
pages to stop leaks in a wall. I mean, in a roof or something like that. It was
Well, yeah,
sop
but
up water. It's
that's a
nuts.
little
It's
bit nuts. That is a little bit
a
nuts.
travesty.
All right, so that is great that you're willing to do an 8 by 10 full color traditional
Hmm.
original piece of art on Bristol. That's a heck of a deal. The Doc Salem fan club. All right, what do we got to do for that?
That's another thing too. I remember like Captain. You remember Captain Midnight? Like Captain
Yeah.
Midnight he had he had a. I tried to get a decoder, and you can't get a decoder, like a
Mm,
Doc Salem decoder ring or whatever. And I couldn't financially do it like
mm.
cheap enough to go ahead and make a tier. But that was my intent is to have like this fan club, like something out of like way out of the past where you got like a decoder ring and you got this and that to
Oh
go ahead
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Whole package.
yeah. So what I
That's a
did
great idea.
was I decided to do a membership card, and on the back of the card, and of course with the membership card, you get updates and stuff like that on current issues and for Doc Salem, and yeah, and the inks are traditionally inked, but the card also comes with a decoder on the back of it. So what I'm planning on doing is slipping in messages inside the book, and you can decode it with your membership card. And it also comes with a T-shirt and some other items too. Yeah,
Sean is such a great guy. Just very graciously thanking us for answering some of his questions.
Oh no, it's
Sorry if
cool. Yeah.
sorry if we didn't answer all of them. We kind of intended to ask all of them. I appreciate tonight's show. I did not know too much about Doc Savage yet. Well, this isn't Doc Savage though. This is Doc. Yeah. Wait a minute. Now I'm blanking. This is Doc Salem, but still very close. Nothing wrong. But you're very, very welcome, Sean. Everybody's welcome. We love everybody getting involved with us and contributing just to the conversation and asking these great questions too. Because it can't just be me and my new friend Preston. It's great to see what people who are interested in it like want to know more about it, like the guns. I wouldn't have thought to ask about the guns. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea of a fan club. I think it's fantastic. I think we need fan clubs to just get people excited about the properties again. And back in the day, like Marvel, Make Mine Marvel, and all that other stuff was just so
Well,
cool. Like the
you
old,
remember
old, old fan clubs.
I tried to get a copy of the first appearance of Captain Britain, and it was like
Mm.
Captain Britain #1 in the UK. And then like that issue and Judge Dredd. Like the first appearance of Judge Dredd, like they had all these stickers that came with the book, and you can't find a book with the stickers anymore. And the first appearance of Captain Britain, you had a mask you could cut out and pretend like you're Captain Britain or whatever.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Well, so I was like, why not do something like that with Doc Salem?
Yeah.
Because I want to gear towards kids and adults, but it's got to be fun and it's got to like ignite their imagination and get them going,
Yeah. And look, that was the fun thing. Like, we still have pictures of my brother, who's a couple years older than me, running around with Superman. Well, not even a Superman, but just like some towel or something in the back of his shirt, or like he's got a
jumping
cape.
off
It's
a
like,
couch
yeah, that was
busting your
fun.
head
And you know
blood
what?
going
We're not
everywhere.
going to get to do all the things we want to do, like on our first projects all the time.
No.
We're not. But we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep building, and we're going to keep promoting, and we're going to get people excited, and we're going to get people to see what the work is, and they're going to give us feedback, and they're going to give us ideas. And it's going to turn into something phenomenal, especially if we all keep working in the COMICSGATE community together, where we're all kind of supporting each other and sharing everything that we know. I like this. This is a piece of comic book history. This is traditional original artwork, I bet.
Yeah, all of it's
Yeah,
traditional,
yeah.
even the inks, except for the
So
colors.
cool.
The colors are digital, but other than that,
So this is going to be, what are we going to get for $300? Let's tell the world what we're going to get.
can't hear you.
Oh,
at the moment.
you can't hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, sorry, man.
I got you.
Okay. So
it's fine.
owning a piece of history, what's included?
Oh, shoot. Let me pull it up real quick.
Oh, I got it too. I got
Okay,
it. Well, okay. So the book, obviously the main book,
uh-huh.
the Doc Salem Ashcan,
Yeah.
Death by Tentacles, which is that really cool iconic image that I love so much.
Yeah, the T-shirt. Yeah, and you get
Death by
everything that
Tentacles.
pretty much you get in what is it? The membership pack, but you also get a page from the book. Because it is done all traditional.
Really cool.
There's going to be 2 copies of every page. One's going to be pencils, and the other one's going to be inks.
So the inks are being done on, not on directly on the pencils.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm going to be able to give away my pencils. I'm not sure if my inker is going to want to part with his art. So you just count on getting the pencils.
Well, let me add, I'm just curious for just the art process. So you produce the pencils, and then do you make a physical copy on a Bristol board for the inker?
No, I email it to the inker, and he prints it out and inks it by hand. So
Isn't that interesting? So he prints it on a board. Very cool. Yeah, we should be doing it that way.
He prints it out in Blue Line, and he goes over it with India ink.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys.
I prefer that too. I really like that, actually. I like having original art. Yeah.
You have your pencils, and he has his inks.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? And it's all original art. Very cool. Something to think about, guys, who's listening. And then this should cover it. I like that title. So this should cover it is all of this cool stuff: the book, the Ashcan, the Death by Tentacles T-shirt, the official fan club ID card, and the original inked cover art. Very cool. And this is the cover.
No, the covers. Oh wait, yeah, the covers with Doc Salem standing on some tentacles.
Isn't that cool? That is really, really cool. Really, really cool. So, is there anything else about Doc Salem that we don't know about? I mean, there's a lot.
There's a few things. I'm real hesitant because it's
no,
like trying to walk that fine line of.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's a cool story. It's interesting. It's classic, but it's also kind of modern. It's fun. The tentacles are fantastic. These extra crossover with artist covers where this is great stuff. So Derek Donovan does one of the specialty covers. Doc Salem. This other cover is by Tim Laddie. I don't know.
He's actually a really good friend of mine. He's working on Ghostbusters right now, and Yeah, he's done some really good work.
Look at his
So
inks and stuff. Look at his lines.
he actually, I think he inked that by hand too.
He's very
I'm not
confident.
sure. I
He's
have to
a
talk
very
to him.
confident artist. I like his design. I really like his design. Wow, he's great.
And that
Um,
one below Eric, I mean Laddie, is
mhm.
the one where it looks kind of like a Joe Mad cover.
Yeah.
That's one of my other friends. He's Johnny Segura, and he he puts out. I think it is being picked up by Antarctic Press. It's a book called Secret Agent Harambe.
Cool.
You remember the gorilla that got shot, at the zoo where it was.
Yeah.
Well, his whole take is that the gorilla wasn't really shot. It was this big conspiracy where he was a secret agent for the government or something like
I mean, I'd heard something about that. I think it's a true story, and the only way to really
that.
know is to support Johnny. Is
Yeah.
Johnny doing his book
It's
on
not out
crowd?
yet. Like it's probably going to
Is,
be out later.
is he crowdfunding it as well?
I think he crowdfunded the first like issue like 2, 3 years ago, and now
Okay,
Antarctic Press is going to be picking it up. Yeah.
that's cool. You know,
Um,
crowdfunding honestly is better. I mean, there's great guys at Anarch Press. They've been in the business a long, long time, publishing comics. Um, since the early '90s.
see,
But you don't make money really, unfortunately, as a creator. You can do a lot better, and you can make some money crowdfunding if you
that's
build
what I
your
was
audience and
wondering
keep working.
because, like, your opinion, right? I mean,
I'll just give you the information. Ask any question.
yeah, like a publisher. Is it even worth getting a publisher nowadays? Because
No, the answer is no.
I mean,
Um,
I don't know about most publishers, but I'm pretty impressed with Alterna. You know what I'm saying? Like
well,
they're
Peter Simeti is very well respected, and
yeah,
I do think it's worth talking to Peter Simeti about submitting this to him. He has a very straightforward process for work that
yeah,
gets submitted to him, and it's on his website. And you click the links and you send it. Doesn't cost anything to send it, and it'll give you feedback. It looks Alterna-ish to me. What you're doing,
yeah,
it looks like it might fit. That said, he has his own his own criteria, and he also works far in advance, so
yeah.
he knows what he's doing like a year from now.
Well, it's
So
not just that; it's also like his out. You see, for me, I think the comic book industry slit its throat when they decided to take comic books out of drugstores and convenience stores. Where it was a specialty item where you can only go to a comic shop and get it.
if you want to go back at Harambe Shinto, poor Harambe, but Harambe's coming back as a secret agent. We'll keep an eye out for that. May already be back.
Yeah.
Harambe disappeared in order to come back as. Oh, that's terrible. No, I can't say that. That's terrible. Come on, keep it nice. Keep it nice. Um, but we love you, Nella. Um, Look, the comic book industry, the thing that's what hurt it the most, what continues to hurt it is you just have to produce, you have to listen to the fans. You got to listen
Mhm.
to the people that are the consumers. And the retailers are not the consumers. The retailers, through the direct market system, through comic shops, the retailers are customers.
Yeah.
They buy the books. The fans that ultimately are that want to buy the comics and read them themselves, they're also customers, but they're the consumers. Like they are the last leg of distribution. So they get the books, and they're the ones who have to. And if they don't love what they're getting, if they don't enjoy what they're getting, if they don't get excited to get to the comic store and be like, "Wow, when's the next issue of this coming out?" Um, you got a big problem,
Yeah.
and it's been that way for a long time. After Shooter left Marvel, for me, that was when there was a rapid decline. The same thing happened with Valiant 1.0 when Jim Shooter left. There was a rapid decline.
Yeah.
It's not because Jim
Extremely.
Shooter is, can't be replaced. The thing of it is the house style was important to have a certain aesthetic to your product. You're very into aesthetics and design. So when people pick up one of your books, if you have a line of comics like a Marvel had a line of comics, you can have different great creators making contributions, but it always would sort of feel like a Marvel comic when the comics were really very good, in the 80s at least. And then,
Hmm.
they had continuity and they respected continuity. So uh when you get rid of continuity, that's when the quality starts to slide because things don't have to make sense anymore, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It,
No, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah.
so yeah, it's too bad to see it all have gone away. But like even the new comics now, if people aren't passionate about the comics, the people making it aren't passionate about telling good stories, about honoring the, you're in control of Spider-Man, you're in control of Batman. If you're not concerned about honoring those franchises, that have been around for
Oh
40,
God.
50 years and longer, and you're just like, well, I want to do something wacky because now I'm in control of Batman and I'm going to build my credibility on Batman, some new guy doing something new with it. Like Todd McFarlane did some brilliant, brilliant work with Spider-Man, but at the same time, the house style that Marvel established when Todd McFarlane left, it was an empty, it was like an empty shell. It was like you could never have another person do Spider-Man and have it kind of have the impact and the dynamic way about it that Todd McFarlane did. And I'm not saying that the other artists aren't good and there aren't other brilliant artists. There are. It's just that he broke the mold and he was allowed to break the mold because Jim Shooter wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, now you've kind of destroyed what a Marvel comic is because that Image is not a house style. Even at Image wasn't a house style, right? I mean, it was all different.
Well, it was well, I guess each individual studio had their own house style. Like Extreme had something going on.
Sure. Yeah, that
Except
you
for
had the people,
Larson, and Larson was all over the place. Like he had Savage Dragon, then he had people
but
with
yeah, you had everyone trying to draw like Jim Lee. And so Jim Lee, yes, was
yeah,
like a house
yeah.
style. And then Todd McFarlane had people, yeah, Marvel RIP. You said it, brother. Um, yeah, you had people that were trying to draw like. And I don't know. I mean, it's you want to be able to have some limitations to produce great work. Like when you talked before about that idea of science fiction stories being a statement of the future, that about the future, that it's not a bad thing to have some limited sandbox to work in because then
Yeah.
you have a structure. So that's how you can stand on the shoulders of giants is an old expression. You can do the next brilliant thing if you follow the discipline from the great people that brought things as far as it was. And that's the role of our generation. And of course, not just in comics, but to go to the next step, to do the next great thing.
Well, it used to be like, I mean, if you read comics long enough, there's going to be a plot line that throws you, and you're going to be like, "Oh my god, they just destroyed my character," and then everything goes back to zero. Like everything goes back to where it's supposed to be at.
It's hard to have continuity for more than maybe 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be changing like issue to issue. You don't want to change the character's gender. You don't want to have 6 different versions
Well,
of the
that's
same
the thing.
character.
It seems like they're trying to make permanent changes to the character instead of
They're
like
doing
bringing
really
everything back
they're
to
doing really bizarre stuff.
yeah.
Like
And
like
I
the
don't like
premise
that.
of the no, most of us don't like that. But
Yeah.
what they're doing what they're doing for whatever their reasons are. We ain't doing that. That's the big thing. We ain't
Yeah.
doing that. We got our stories to tell. I'm sure you got other projects too. So you're going to release Doc Salem. It's
Mhm.
going to be a hit. Your answer to the question of dealing with publishers is it's fine to do a deal with like an Alterna or Antarctic or anyone else after you do your crowdfunding. If you
Yeah.
do the crowdfunding first, you can generate some revenue, you can generate some interest, and then you can get some extra fans. Because if you like, for example, I don't know if I don't know if you're familiar with. You must have heard of Brian Polito's Lady Death.
Oh yeah, of course. That's,
So Lady
I don't
Death's
think
business
anybody has
model,
it.
pretty much everybody's heard of Brian. So what Brian does is he puts out Lady Death
Mhm.
first through crowdfunding, makes some money, and then he breaks up the book in like in a limited series. Like maybe 2 books are broken down into a 2-issue series, or at least he was doing that initially. And or he might do another collection and offer it to the comic shops as a secondary market.
Yeah.
So the primary market is one. But what's great about that, and it's a big positive about that, is not only do you make a little bit of money out of the comic shops, and you don't really make much money. You might, make very little. Like this 10,000 that you'll raise on this as at a minimum, which I'm sure you will. Um, you're not going to get $10,000 in revenue out of a book, probably through
Well,
comic
that's what I'm
shops.
scared of because it's not. I'm not worried about me. I'm gonna produce this book and I'm gonna make money on the side to keep producing the book.
Hmm.
But I'm worried about like paying my inker and paying the colorist and paying to get it published, and then I want to also do other things with the book. I want to make it fun, and you need money to make it fun. Like I was saying, the decoder, get a
Well,
decoder ring or something like that.
you do, but do this one thing is that you're passionate about this project. I think people are going to like it. Sean was asking those good questions in the chat, and he's not
Mm-hmm.
doing it to blow smoke. He's interested. What you need to do is you're working on this project. You need to give the market a chance to respond. So the more
Yeah.
people that get exposed to this, you'll see what they say about it. You'll be on Ethan's show, which is the biggest show in COMICSGATE. It's very significant. You could do as much as $1,000 or even a couple of $1,000s after having a great appearance on his show, or maybe it's just a couple of hundred. But you'll see some responses, and Ethan
Mm-hmm.
will talk about the work, and people in the chat will talk about the work. So you'll see what the response is. But this is just one project, and you could, if this project doesn't wind up being your 5-star super out of the park project, you'll do another project. There's a lot of things that you'll do. So the point is, like, there's no way to fail at this. You're getting
Yeah.
experience. You're successful. You're going to be exposed. People are going to get to know who Preston is, and what kind of work you're doing, what you're passionate about. The things you're interested in and passionate about are like the same kind of things that the best of us are interested in and passionate about. You just need to get to know more people. When we're done talking, I'm going to send you a link that I sent to everybody who I like and respect, that has a list of another, believe it or not, as many as 30 other
The inker's
YouTube
name is
channels on it.
Aaron Wolf,
Aaron
the
Wolf is
Wolf
doing
Man.
great work. We always need another Wolfman in COMICSGATE.
Yep.
That's John Malin related. But in any event, I'm going to send you a list of like 30 other channels
Okay.
similar to mine, and you'll reach out to those people and say, hey, I'd like to be on your show. Here's what my book is, and more people get to know you. More and more people get to see you, and your book's going to get seen. People are going to back it. They're going to get excited about it, and you'll see. You're going to get support from this. You're not going to have to push this upstream. You'll get feedback. You'll see what the energy level is. You'll see what the interest level is, and you'll make it work. It'll
Well,
be
I'm
successful.
always concerned, like, about the art for one thing. I want it to be professional. I want it to be interesting, not just and good too. So I'm always second guessing myself when it comes to stuff like that. And the
Good.
story too, like I have people look over it to make sure it's good, it's right.
Well,
Yeah. So.
that's excellent. There's a guy in our group called Professor Geek, and he has a YouTube channel also called Professor Geek. He has a book called Tales from the Stacks.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to interview him soon. I haven't had the opportunity yet. I've been on his show. He has a show as well. Sean has two important things. One, try to contact crowdfunding comics with Billy Tucci and get on Sweetcast. I'm going to give you the link information for them. They're on my list.
Okay.
And Sweetcast is on the list as well. Clint is great, and you're working with him on another book. Hopefully, he's going to take interest in something like this. I'm sure he's going to like it. I would assume. Sean is also asking.
I actually talked to Clint a little bit because I had some story problems, and he was extremely helpful with that.
Yeah, he's great.
Dialogue.
He's great to all of us. Um, R2D2 for Life is asking if you have a YouTube channel to follow or Instagram.
I do have a YouTube channel that I'm trying to develop at the moment, and I have an Instagram too. It's
Can you
under.
can you type it in the chat?
I can. Oh,
You
one
see
second.
where
I'm
the
gonna
chat
copy
is
and
on the
paste
right
it.
hand side?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, thank you for asking that, Sean. That's really helpful. Sean, please show up for all of the shows. You're so helpful. You Shinto, you're always around. Nella, you're fun.
Let's see here.
That is your okay. That's Twitter.
Here we go.
Okay. Okay. So you're gonna type it in the chat. That's great.
And
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to make this point. Let me make sure I resonate this point. So
okay.
what works so well for the guys that are able to sell their books crowdfunding first, make their money, and then get into comic stores is that their people in comic stores then get exposed to your project. So they're able to then go on your website. If you have a web store, they can buy stuff from you, or at least start to become familiar with you for your next crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that Brian is picking up at least hundreds of people a year, if not 1,000 or so or more, who then can go and spend, maybe he doesn't even make money selling the comic in the shop, but they get on his mailing list. He's great at promotion. they can buy a $50 tier, from his crowdfunding, and sometimes multiple $100 tiers, and that's how you reach out and can find new people as well. So it's always good to look at how you're going to reach out and find more people, and they should be hopefully fans of the property, but fans of you as well. We all use YouTube a lot. I didn't initially, but you did a great job tonight on the show. You're interesting. Your comic is interesting.
Wow,
You want to
thanks.
really, yeah, get familiar more and more with YouTube. In fact, I had a nice interview with Clint a few days ago. Seems like a week ago, but I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago. But anyway, we talked about everything that Clint learned so far doing his YouTube channel, and he had some great advice in there. And I've been using some of his advice, and it's been working for me. But I did that as a resource for us as publishers because I know, like for Clint, it was so significant for him to do the Sweetcast channel, build his base, and then he got to his $30,000 in funding on his first comics project.
That's amazing. I did a pinup for his book.
Oh, awesome.
It was because the sky cycles he had in that book were so insane. Like they were incredible.
Yeah, he had some beautiful designs. Matt Weldon did
Yeah,
some beautiful work.
I mean, the cityscape, the sky cycles to me were the most interesting because it was the most diesel punk sky cycle you could actually. I don't know. I don't think you can get any more diesel punk than that. It was awesome.
I'm sure Clint is will be really happy to hear that too. I know he's really proud. I'm proud of him too. He's done great. Um, and that book is we're all excited to get that book. And he's been telling us he may do a follow-up book to that series, Downcast 2, sooner than we think. So
Oh, you
we're
got
all
to. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's true. Like you get people excited about a property and a project and a story, and your attachment to it. They want to follow up.
Well, the problem with that is that once you do something like that and you get everybody into it, like you have an obligation to the customer to keep it going and the fans to keep it going.
You at least got to do the best you can. But people
Yeah,
do want to tell different stories too. So you just have
yeah.
to have an honest dialogue. And that's what's so great about YouTube is you get to talk to your fans. They get to see what you're about and understand like what you're trying to do. I think this is going to be great. I think it's going to be a huge success. I think you're going to be able to do as many issues of Doc Salem as you want. You will get your precious decoder ring. I believe it. Obviously, that's sort of like your precious. You
Coin.
want that to happen.
I do
Um,
actually. It's the
if it's
coolest thing
that
ever.
important to you, it'll happen. And maybe there's somebody else who's listening who knows how to
Although now
source
it's
that kind
probably
of
a
stuff.
decoder app. Yeah.
Well, but the thing of it is like if you describe what it is that you're looking for and you put it even in a tweet like, hey, does anybody know how to source something like this and describe it, you're in a group of very interesting people now, and there may be somebody that knows how to find something like that, and it becomes affordable. Maybe not even for this first campaign, but for the second campaign.
Yeah,
It
it's
is kind of
definitely probably
interesting.
not going to happen to the first campaign,
Yeah,
but the second
if
one
it's not the
definitely
first
will.
one. But we just got to get you going. That's all. We just got to get you going. The I think it's a good idea to think about offering this to Alternative to review and
I
also to
did. I already
consider.
offered it.
Okay. Oh, all
I
right. So you're
jumped the
in
gun
there.
a little bit. I mean, I haven't
No,
gotten a
there's no.
response from anybody, but I was like,
Well,
let me
he's
just
good
see.
for
But I
you.
was,
You
I
just
was
have to.
always going. I'm sorry.
No, not at all, man. You put a lot of. You got to. This is the whole thing. Like
No, no,
I
no.
really.
I I I was always planning on running a crowdfunding campaign because
Mm,
you got to. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see much money in publishing except for promotion and like getting a publisher is what I'm talking
mm-hmm.
about. Like as far as except for maybe promotion and advertisement. But if they're only going to go ahead and print the book and not say and show you off and strut out their stuff, then you got to get more than just an ad on their website is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm
Yeah, you're
saying?
right.
And
You got to be out there yourself these days. But if you
yeah,
do it, if you're out there yourself and you build your audience, someone
yeah,
who's very disciplined with this and who's doing a great job. He just finally started his YouTube channel too. Well, he's had a YouTube channel, but he started like promoting himself and promoting other people. Is a guy named Vinny Tardamella. I don't know if you know his
yeah.
work. And I
Not
actually just
yet.
had him on last night. Well, look him up. His book, City of Venus, and he has a kids book he's doing called. We
Oh,
just
wait,
did it
wait, wait.
last night at
Yeah,
Ghostly
yeah, I
Manor.
do. I do know who that is. He was in
Yeah,
one of the
so
yeah.
look at Vinny's old campaigns and his new campaigns. He just work, deliver, ship the book, and people, they're starting to find out more about him. Like he's relevant in conversation. Like I'm talking about
Yeah.
him now. Like you're absolutely right. You do it yourself. You do it with crowdfunding. You use the
Well,
other
what I'm
channels.
saying is, I think it's if you're going to be a publisher, I think it's your obligation to go ahead and push the books that you're publishing. You see what I'm saying? Like
It is,
you
but the
can't
thing of
say, "Give me the
it,
book, do all the
but the
work,
thing
and
of it
do all
is,
the advertisement too."
yeah, with the publishing, they're not in a position to make any money selling your intellectual property as comics. So they
Hmm.
don't make any money. So
Yeah,
that's a problem. That's a problem with the business model. So,
yeah,
you know, your project, you own it. It's your property, just like it's your house, it's your real estate. You have the title to the deed. And if you want to partner with your intellectual property, and some of the publishers want to share some of the ownership in your project, and they say they're going to do this for you, and you decide if you want to marry that person basically and be in business with them forever. But like Alterna doesn't take any of your intellectual property; they're just doing it for the publishing rights.
yeah. But you know what's good
And
about them is that Peter actually gets on YouTube and pushes every book in his
oh,
lineup. Yeah,
that's great about him. He
and
does everything you possibly, as a human being, could possibly do, and he doesn't ask for ownership of your project. We all
yeah.
love Peter. We do. We think he has great ideas.
But
He's
that's
doing a
that's my idea of a publisher. That's what a publisher should be doing.
It is, but at the same time, like why everyone doesn't do what Peter's doing is because even though Peter's doing it and he's making a living, he's working from home. It's not a gigantic successful company, but he's putting out his
Not yet.
comics. I don't know. I don't know if that's even what his what his intention is. I don't know what Peter's.
Yeah.
Actually, I Peter's been on my show a couple, like maybe two times. We've did like shows
I'm,
together, I think, and Peter and I known each other a couple of years. And I've made some notes, and I want to ask him more about his business model. I don't know if how much he's comfortable talking about it. Everything I know about how Peter does business is he's very ethical, he's very creative, and it is successful. So he does it, but he's unique. So to the extent he's willing to talk about it, I want to hear what he has to say. I think he's got some good ideas, but also just by talking about ideas sometimes, that's how you get your best ideas, is that you explain something to
yeah.
someone from a third party point of view. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, just out of nowhere, you kind of realize like, hey, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. So yeah, I'd love to talk to him about it. We'll see if he's
I'll,
available.
I'll
He's
come up with
very,
a comic idea too. It's just
you get a lot of great ideas by talking to people. And that's one of the things I really like. I'm trying to do YouTube shows and supporting individual creators uh, at least once a day if I can, and not every day. I can't do it every day sometimes, but
Mhm.
I try to do it because it's great for everybody. It makes them comfortable talking, and I I think you're going to be a huge asset to the ComicsGate group, man. I think your
Oh,
project is great.
thanks. I appreciate that. What
Hey,
about
it's Edward.
College of the Dead? Is College of the Dead going to see a second issue?
College of the Dead's going to have some more action, brother. Now that you ask about it, we'll just talk about it real quick. I mean, I love promoting my stuff as well. Um, my mission is I got to promote my guys. I got to promote the new guys, and make sure that I do a show. I want to do a show on everybody. But so College of the Dead, here's what it actually is. It's a 140-page black and white graphic novel. It's a zombie apocalypse set on a college campus, which for me, I was like, why is there not this? Why don't we have a zombie apocalypse taking place on a college campus? That's
Yeah,
like the most natural place for a zombie apocalypse to me, because it's like college students to me would be like the perfect demographic that would be interested in this sort of thing. And they also like they have like their own tension and drama like in their own little world of a college campus. It's not like real life being in college.
yeah.
So I mean, I was there for a few years, so I kind of got the vibe. So that's what the story really is that teachers and students are attacked by a zombie apocalypse. So you see like very cool individual characters. The characterization is great, like they're real individuals. You feel like it's you're really drawn into the story. The cover is colored by Kyle Ritter, who's a fantastic colorist. He colored
Yeah,
Cyberfrog.
I like that cover. The cover's badass.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
mean,
man. I had this image in black and white of this football player. This was repurposed actually from inside of the book. We did a little extra touch-ups. We added his football helmet and something else with his foot. I can't even recall, but yeah, I had it on my wall for like a year because I've been working on this book with the creative team for maybe 2 years or something.
mhm.
And I just loved the image. So I was like, all right, we got to turn this into a cover. It would have been much easier to just do a new cover, but I just really, really liked the image. I'm like, this really represents College of the Dead so well. So
Are
yeah,
you
that's
going to
Javi.
are you going to do
Well,
a yearbook to go with the College of the Dead? Like a
I think we have to do something like in the second book. I think we don't have it in this book, but I think we have to do something with like yearbook photos as zombies, or you can
oh,
get
that'd be
drawn in
awesome.
as a zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got to do something like that because you have to have a yearbook in college, and we don't have
yeah.
one just yet. Um, so the interior is all done. Actually, I just sent the files this morning for the second set of prototypes, which I'm supposed to receive FedEx on Friday, so I can finally approve it, and then we can start printing and shipping, which is super exciting. This is actually the cover to book 2 by Javier Aranda, and they have some scary zombie-looking college students in
Oh, sweet.
graduation cap and gown. Yeah, and these are the interiors. So for the purposes of flow and really like deep engagement with the story, we designed this to be 2 panels per page. And there are 12 sequential pages of art right here on the listing, which you can get to by going to collegeofthedead.com, or it'll redirect to it, or you can look in the link, and I'll show you on Indiegogo. And yeah, it's a good story. It's really well written. It's very interesting. Stefan Petruka wrote it. And you get drawn right into the story. I was kind of looking at it the other day, and I was like, "Wow, it really does draw you right in." And some people are
You
like,
know
"Oh, is this
what's
good?" Yeah, go ahead, man.
no. What's interesting is I used to do a lot of black and white stuff back in the day when I and with my first
Mm.
uh, co-creation, Rockabilly Road Trip, and it was I've noticed like it took a lot of skill to make black and white look good because you never had color as a crutch. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, because you can do a lot of things in color. Some people were asking me like, "Well, why don't you do a
yeah.
stretch goal and do it in color?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, we intend it's you can see that the work is so intended for
I
black and
don't know.
white."
The work can stand on its own. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need color. And most people are like, well, screw it. I'll just let the colorists come in. And but no, you don't need color on this. I think
Yeah,
it
you can
works.
see that
You
like
could
the
probably go with one color, like this red, and just make sure all the blood red inside
that
of it.
would be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was designed to be black and white, like
Hmm.
The Walking Dead's black and white. It's the first Night of the Living Dead was black and white. It's kind of like that's what the property is supposed to be. So I just
Yeah.
kind of want to leave the aesthetics where they are. That said, I am thinking about maybe for book 3. I'm considering. I'm going to do some tests and just kind of see how it looks.
Well, the first
Um,
Evil Learning wasn't the first Evil Learning all in black and white. Like it was just.
yeah, it was, and I knew Brian back in the day too. We know each other a little bit, but yeah, I knew him back in the day. And it was published by Malibu.
Oh, was it?
Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, Malibu Comics, Scott Rosenberg's company that was later acquired by Marvel. Malibu Comics published the first Evil Ernie. I believe I turned it down. Maybe Brian will remember different. I turned down a lot of stuff. We were publishing biography comics back in the day, and parody comics, spoof comics, um, but personality comics and spoof comics. And I turned down Dawn by Joseph
Oh
Michael
God,
Lisner.
did you?
Yeah, I turned down Billy Tucci for She. Like all the good stuff, I turned down. We did hire Adam Hughes to do some stuff. We had some great guys do some great work, and Adam Polina was in our studio. He did Chromium Man for us at Triumphant Comics.
Yeah.
Um, he beautiful, beautiful work, Adam Polina. And then he got snapped up by Marvel eventually. Um, so what we did was we made this is the Ashcan I was talking about before. We did a 100-page Ashcan book that shows the full script and all the pencil layouts of the book, so people kind of get to see how we really made the book. In fact, I made a video showing the prototypes so people can see like the different editions, what the books actually look like in a quick video. In the links in the description below. And I'm really happy actually with how the promo video came out. It took a while to make it, but it was kind of fun.
Oh my God.
Um,
Yeah, I did the same thing. It took me a day to get familiar with the program, and yeah,
I'm still not that familiar with the program. I just got lucky on a couple things, and
yeah,
I was working with one of our promo friends, Tampa, on calls himself Tampa on Twitter, and we were talking about how long should it be, and they're just the coolest people in this ComicGate group of people that just want to help each other, and we're just so happy to see each other succeed. Just this most sincere. It's the best of all of us. That's what you see. The jerky stuff. When you see jerky stuff, you know that person's kind of, they're not cool. They're not going to stay with the group. But you don't see much jerky stuff anymore. Honestly, there's a couple of people from the
Yeah.
past, but
Well,
so many
then,
great new people. I could just give you a list of like 50 people that are just out there helping each other out. So we did this featured tier. This might be something might want to think about. I don't think you have a featured tier.
okay. What you got?
So the featured tier is just when someone yeah, it's a good idea. Digital probably shouldn't be your first thing. So the idea of the featured tier is if somebody wants to spend, let's say, $50 or even this $40, the thing that's like, hey, I like this guy, I like that project, and it's the first thing that they see to buy, and you don't want digital to be the first thing they see to buy. In fact, the digital, you could almost look at this and say, like, the digital really
Oh,
should,
I see what you're saying.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
you
Make
like,
that come up first.
yeah, you make it come up first. They allow you to pick one featured tier, and it's the first thing they see. And the thing that's funny here is the the first thing people see on your campaign is digital, but they don't even want it. They what they want
Yeah,
is
no,
look at what people are actually buying. They're like, oh, I want the book on the Ashcan.
yeah,
So your book on the Ashcan is $25, and the collector's pack is 40. But
yeah.
and your collector's pack is a good deal. So I would make either your collector's pack or your book in the Ashcan the featured item, so they can kind of see it right away and buy it. Um, and
That's a good idea. I think I'm gonna do that.
yeah,
I'm gonna make
you
the adjustment tonight.
yeah, and honestly, if it doesn't take off, then
Hmm.
maybe try something else. But I'm really happy that I wanted people to get the Ashcan because I was really proud of it. You don't really see, people could an Ashcan can be a lot of different things. Mine's an 8.5, 11 book, and you'll see later. Check it out; it's fun. My promo video in the description. I show the interiors of all three of the editions that we have: the Ashcan, the comic book, and the art book, which I'll show you in a minute
Hmm.
below. But yeah, it's interesting and it's fun, and I'm glad people are trying it. And I think they're going to be really happy with the Ashcan because it has something that's kind of unique. You don't usually get the full script to a comic as well as the layouts.
Yeah.
So it's educational and it's kind of like the ultimate behind the scenes because it's not just character designs.
Well, I don't believe in digital. Actually, I don't. It's not.
You don't get rid
It's
of your damn digital then, or put it at
yeah.
like full retail. Put it at 20
No,
bucks
no, no. I'm just saying, like it's like as far as digital as in general, I guess because there's no
as a rule.
collector's value on a digital comic.
The only, you know what, it's good for convenience for some people. I have bought
Yeah.
some digital from some of the campaigns that my friends are running, just because it's easy for me. It'll be on my
Mhm.
computer. It is fun to get a package, but I tend to like lose track of physical things because there's just so much stuff.
You
When you're a
probably got
publisher,
tons of comics, though, right?
yeah, yeah. And when you're a publisher, you have a lot of paper. Like I have stacks of original artwork and stuff. It's like sometimes I'm going to want to go and see like where's Monster MD at, or I'm going to want to see where's Super Harem at, or whatever it is, and I'm going to want to be able to just pull it up. Door kickers too, like just conveniently pick the thing up and check it out. So on our tiers, we also did just the regular comic book, which is $25 for a 140 page book, and it's we also did this set, which includes this art book. It's the Ashcan, the comic, and the art book. And the art book is in the art book is a 260 page book,
Oh my
and that's
god.
yeah, it's just the black and white art. Well, we did 2 panels per page, so this is like a
Yeah.
full 8.5 by 8.5 book. It's just the black and white art panel with no lettering on it because Javier's his work is nice.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see his art panels and to see what he did like at full size without the lettering on it. And it's a really kind of special book where we're only producing a very limited number
That's
of the
really
books
cool.
in
Actually, I
general.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, you might look at that
Yeah.
too because your work is probably beautiful in black and white. It's relatively inexpensive to produce a special. You could be an oversized edition. Yours could be like an 8.5, 11, big as the art could be on the page, like just the black and white line art with no lettering. I've seen a couple of other guys are doing that. I think it's a good idea because it's a very unique item and it's another way that people can enjoy the work that they
Yeah.
otherwise would never get to, like literally never get to see. Uh,
Well, I've
and
always thought about putting out an art book too, because I'm actually, like I said, I do paintings too. Yeah, I've always thought about like just shoving those into one of
bury
these.
the digital. Come on, Longbox. Featured tier is a great idea. Thank you,
Yeah.
Longbox. Very nice. Longbox actually is super nice. Edward Martin said, "Oh hey," before. Hey, 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 hey. Um, bury the digital and good evening. Well, that not goodbye. That's I think that's a hello. Longbox also has a YouTube channel, and Longbox is very cool, very friendly, and very helpful. And all you guys in the chat, you're so important and you're so valuable to us. To just make, helps keep it interesting. And we also want to see like what you guys care about. Oh, thanks for subscribing on YouTube. Very cool. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should probably be saying that, guys.
Did I
Definitely.
subscribe?
Yeah, subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to
I didn't actually.
Preston's
Okay,
channel when
I'm
Preston's
subscribed
ready.
now.
Oh man, you got to subscribe. I mean,
I thought I subscribed. I'm sorry.
it's all right, brother. You better click the bell for
You show up in
notification.
my feed anyway. I
You're
mean, it's
going to get notified. No, you have to do that, guys. You have to also check out my link to my promo video. I'm really proud of it. I would play it, but you're not going to hear the sound that way. I don't know how to do that fancy schmancy stuff, but yeah, it's really kind of fun. Well, guys, we need more from this guy. We got to support him. We got to give him honesty. He told you he's open to criticism. You don't have to always like just give him endless criticism. You can give him praise as well, and you can give him feedback and say, "Hey, I like the idea. Have you ever thought of?" Connect with him on Twitter. Could you put your Twitter, please,
uh,
in your
there
in
you
the
go.
chat?
Wait.
And you see, I picked this idea up from someone else, another COMICSGATE guy. Like I put my you don't have to do it, whatever you want to have fun with. But if you put your name like next to your email, your Twitter handle next to your name,
Uh huh.
that's kind of cool because then people get to see easily what it is. So it's something to think about. You're
Okay.
welcome,
Sweet.
Longbox.
I'll do that.
But for now, put it in the chat. What is your Twitter?
Ah, see how you got it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Adam Post that comic. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
copied that off someone. What's your Twitter, man?
Mine at Nikki the Pipe.
Yeah, Nikki, I couldn't find that. See, it's like a little hard to find. So could
Yeah.
you put that in the chat? Like, can you type it
Sure
in
can.
there?
Let's
All right,
see.
guys, follow Preston on Twitter. Give him positive feedback. If you have any legit criticism, give him the criticism. He's open to it. He wants to keep getting better. He wants to learn stuff, and he wants feedback. And obviously, be respectful. But be honest. Doesn't his book look cool? Don't you love these freaking tentacles that this character's getting surrounded by, Doc? What is Doc's name? Doc.
At
Doc.
Doc.
What?
I
It's
mean,
not
Doc
Doc
said.
Savage.
Doc
I didn't get a
Salem.
lot of sleep last night. I was on the phone quite late. Doc Salem. Doc Salem. I like your logo too.
Yeah, it
Good
took me a
energy.
while to come up with that. At first, I wanted to do something kind of creepy, and then it didn't work out. But then I don't know. I just wanted to do something that kind of popped a
Well,
little bit.
it's interesting, and I think you're going to see more people are going to back you. More people are going to be aware of you. More people are going to have you on their shows. I'm going to send you a link to a list of other cool shows, and even the small shows. I did well on small shows too. I got some backing from those people. Some of the people that have you on their show, they become interested in you and they back you. Like I'm going to back you. But I
Sweet.
was really shocked at that. Like, what do you mean? You just have me on your show. Why are you giving me money for it? It's like, well, because you're cool and we like your book. It's just such a cool little community, but uh, there's a lot of you'll see there's a lot of enjoyment, and it's really a privilege to be involved with people. So there's Preston's Twitter uh, at Nikki the Pipe, which probably has an amazing story to it as well. But everybody, back Doc Salem. Go ahead and share the campaign on Twitter, share it on Facebook, connect with the doctor himself, connect with Preston, and you'll look out for Preston. He's going to be on ComicsGate Live hopefully this week. Ethan's obviously his schedule for the show is very hectic. It just depends when he's available to do it. He's a very busy guy making Cyberfrog. But really, let's get this guy in our group. Let's get this guy's book funded, and let's let people know about it. All right, and thank you so much, guys, in the chat. Thank you, Nella, for all of your interesting comments, even the Harambe one. Although I'm not sure I agree completely. Edward, great to see you. Zaid, Hail Doc Salem. Zaid has a
Hell,
channel. You're
that's
going to get a
it.
link to his channel as well. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun, very knowledgeable writing guy. Nello is a lot of fun. Sean, so great to spend time with you tonight. Shinto, always great to see you. Um, you're going to see a lot of these names. A lot of these names keep coming back of just people that are passionate about comics and passionate about comic creators. They just want to help us do our best work, and
Well, that's
it's
how it
really
should be. You know what I'm saying? Like
it is, but it's such a privilege. Like, are we entitled to this? I guess if we really work hard and we really try hard to give
yeah,
them our best, we are entitled to it. But we got to keep earning it every day. We got to earn their respect every day,
exactly.
man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us, chat. We're going to call it a night. And also, check out my promo video. Tell me what you think of it on Twitter or in the comments section below. It's kind of fun. It's like 43 seconds, but I'm talking fast and it's interesting. You get to see the books. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night.